Hey everybody, welcome back. So I hope you're ready for a nice little relaxing trip back in time because you're about to get one. Uh, so what we're looking at here is a copy of Liberty magazine from August 8th, 1925. It's in pretty good condition considering this was not printed on the best paper at the time. When I look at this magazine, I think the first thing that pops in my head is Saturday Evening Post because the drawing on the cover reminds me of Norman Rockwell, and it's actually done by an artist named Norman Hall, whose signature bears a striking resemblance to Norman Rockwell's, and the art itself is very, very similar to Norman Rockwell's. So I don't know if this was just a kind of an earlier version of the Saturday Evening Post, or if one was a knockoff of the other. I don't know, or if this was just the style of a family magazine. But it's fascinating to me how similar this is to the Saturday Evening Post. Just to take a good look at the cover here, it appears to be a man making his breakfast with a cast iron skillet, and he's reading a postcard. And it says, shall stay another week having a fine time. Wifey is what the card says. And as you can see, there's a pile of dishes behind him. The plant has not been watered. As you can see, the picture tells a story. And the story is that men cannot take care of themselves without the wife. And so a little bit of humor from the day. Now, it says $1,000 for a title to this cover. And I think that would be a pretty easy title if you thought about it. And then there appears to be some serial drama here, which at the time, before TV and the internet, people would buy their weekly magazines to read dramatic stories in serial form. So let's turn the page and take a look. We have a very nice retro ad for Quaker puffed wheat, and as I probably mentioned ad nauseum in these reviews, that so many of these pictures could be taken out and framed. I mean, they're just little works of art, and the fact that these are authentic pieces as well. I mean, this Quaker ad here, with a recipe on it and everything, to me could totally be framed. Here is an ad for Star Cars, low-cost transportation, now a defunct automobile company, advertising that you could buy a two-door sedan for $750 with a dark blue lacquer finish, and just a great deal for a car. I'm sure that this original car would go for so much more money now. The editorial page, and we're talking about a spending nation. Does that sound familiar? If you watch the news, at least in the United States, that seems to be the word on a lot of our politicians' lips, is that we're spending too much in the government. Here is the cereal that I was referring to from the cover. The World in Their Heart, a new cereal of reckless youth and the sinister shadow of the law. It sounds like real juicy stuff, especially for 1925. And here's the corresponding art. And the caption on the picture says, "What were you doing?" demanded Dorothy's father. Dorothy's eyes mocked him, dared him. And it's just a story about youth gone wild. Another thing we probably hear a lot about. The story continues with some more art. It looks like some gunplay happens in this story. Saratoga in August. They're off, and so are most of the folks who bet on them. Way off. Horse racing. An article about horse racing by Walter Davenport. The same artist apparently has done the pictures. Now they're all really well. Let's see. Vital, joyous, certain once more of their power, thousands have found the way to glorious health through one simple food. And the simple food they're talking about is Fleischmann's yeast. So, number 1A Pocket Kodak Series 2 with Kodak Anastigmat lens, f7.7, and Diomatic shutter. Basically, if you know anything about cameras, this was a box with a wax or coated paper, accordion folded extension, and your lens right here. The cameras were very simple, yet they worked very well. Okay. Atwater Kent Radio. As you know, I'm a big old time radio fan, and this was one of the most popular radios of the day. The Atwater Kent Radio looked like it was just beautiful looking. Here's a picture of it right here in this very stylish sitting room here, and it shows some features of the radio. If you like old time radio shows, that's what they're listening to them on. Heavy Sugar by Mrs. Wilson Woodrow. Interesting name. A love story of a young millionaire's day in court. The Biggest Human Enterprise. Some interesting facts about Sally, who is a partner in it, by C.H. Woodward. Sally, Chicago public school boy who illustrates how the greatest business in the world is being mismanaged. Both pictures are of Sally. They were taken 7 months apart. Something came into Sally's life to make this change. The story tells all. And it's a rags to riches. It tells me that this magazine has some kind of scammy stuff in it. Okay, Statler Hotels, Buffalo, Cleveland, Detroit, and St. Louis. Nice ad. And then an article about traveling's hard work too. Here we have Autolite ignition for Fords. Your Ford plus Autolite ignition equals big car performance. Smokador. I think we've seen these. I think these still exist to a certain extent. The ashtrays, the outdoor ashtrays with a tube in it to obscure the smell of cigarette smoke for $10.50. A good thing to put outside of a building for people's smoke breaks during lunch. A declining habit, at least in America. Here's an article by Billy Mitchell. If you know anything about Air Force history, you'll be familiar with him. Free 10-day tubes in the coupon. She looks like Clara Bow. Now, a new way to lighten cloudy teeth. I don't think Clara would have been in a... I don't think it's her, but she just resembles her. It's not quite her, not pretty enough. Okay. I really, well, here's an ad for Wrigley's. And, Wrigley's Juicy Fruit. And I really like this ad right here. Everywhere you see the new Chevrolet, why? Quality at low cost. That's another thing that you could totally frame. I mean, that is just a beautiful page. The printing's really good too. Oh, I love this. I love this. Do you see that? This map of Hollywood that shows different film sets where different celebrities live. This is awesome. Just look at that. This is the kind of treasures that I love to find when I look through these old magazines. I mean, this is just beautiful. It's in full color. It references all kinds of movies and actors from this time period in just beautiful art. The kind of picture you could stare at for a long time. I mean, I love this. I mean, I would love to just take this out and frame it. If it didn't mean destroying the magazine, which is something that it'd be hard for me to do. But this is just beautiful. I just want to give you one more look at this. If you love old movies, this is the kind of stuff that we're... If you just look at this in front of you, here's like, wow. There's an ad for BVDs, men's underwear. I'm really glad they've changed. No Mittens, another cereal. Here's an ad for Spratz Ovals, the Pocket Dog Biscuits. I guess when you're walking your dog, you needed to carry those around in your pocket. 20 Years, a Big League Umpire by Billy Evans. Story about baseball. I will prove to you that you can make $100 a week. I think I'll stick with what I'm making now. Shaving ad. Mole. I'm sorry. It's pronounced Mole. Far from Rory through coupons. This is the National City Company, National City Bank Building. And we're getting into the more low-end ads towards the end of the magazine here. I'm just going to sort of scan Wild Root, Hair Tonic, I'm sure Some of us have heard of that. Don't you still see stuff like this in catalogs? These slimming undergarments. Things don't change that much. That exercise does not look good for your neck. Sometimes when I look at these magazines, I just feel like I'm kind of going back in time. And I think they're like time capsules, and I've said that before, and I just think that you look and you're struck by how things have changed and how things are still the same. And I really enjoy, and if you're watching this, you probably enjoy these as well. So I'm glad I can share this with you. And here's the part 2. Can you suggest a title to this week's cover picture? And it shows the winning titles from last Norman Rockwell-like picture. How did they dress up in the movies? A page of movie reviews. They review Don Q, Son of Zorro, Siege, and The Manicured Girl. I recognize some of these names, but like Mary Astor, Lottie Pickford Forrest. Something tells me she's related to Mary Pickford. This week's crossword puzzle. You know, it'd be really interesting to see how well we would do this now, considering that a lot of the crossword topics are probably, you know, specific to 1925. So it'd be interesting to see how the average person could do that. A family picnic as a rejuvenator. And they're talking about, just got some recipes. Potato chips, cabbage salad, baked ham. Here's some color illustrations. I have to admit, I really like this magazine. This is one of my of the ones I've reviewed recently. I'm really thinking this is a good one. I'm really pleased with what I find in it. Putting your wife in business: how a bride and a budget can make a sound financial institution in the home. Huh. And we get to vote for the kind of story you like or did not like in Liberty, and an ad for Dufo Oblique Parker. Parker is the company still exists, I think. Pins, fountain pins. And finally, Lucky Strike on the back, when they still had the green packaging prior to World War II. So I hope you enjoyed this walk back in the past with this Liberty magazine from 1925, and I enjoyed showing it to you. So please comment and subscribe. Thanks a lot. Bye.